Hey there, this is your pal Pally, and welcome back to Git Er Raid. We present to you now the heroic General Nazgrim encounter, the 8th boss in Siege of Orgrimmar. The General pulls another type of ad out from his you-know-what, and also decides the tanks need to pay attention more to him while tanking. This fight is all about ad control for pretty much the whole fight until you burst him down at the end. It is usually too healed, as you probably need the DPS, and the healing really isn't that intense if you are properly executing mechanics. So, as I mentioned, there is a new ad type. That is the Sniper. He's basically a hunter type guy that will fixate on a healer and then keep shooting that healer to the face while occasionally doing a big multi-shot cleave in front of him. There isn't too much special about this guy other than that. Whatever healer he fixates on will need to turn the ad away from the raid and just take the shots until the DPS can kill the sniper off. And the other major mechanic change is that Nazgrim will use an ability called Execute periodically on his current tank. Essentially, this is just to make sure your tanks are paying attention. It does a massive amount of damage, but is survivable if the tank is using their active mitigation. So, Pallies use Shield of the Righteous, Warriors Shield Slam presumably, DKs will Death Strike, etc, etc. There is a cooldown and timer for this ability, and even a cast time, so if you can't see it coming and prepare, then I don't know what else he could do to warn you. That is all the changes to mechanics for heroics. As always, things hurt more, and let me especially call out his heroic shockwave ability. This ability will definitely kill anyone standing in the aftershock stuff when it goes off, so you'll constantly need to be watching out for this the entire fight. Get used to it. Strategy-wise, the fight doesn't change too much for heroic. You still have ad waves to deal with, although now 3 ads come out instead of 2. You'll still want to establish a priority for ads, you'll want to beat up on him during Berserker stance, and not touch him during defensive stance. Kill banners, keep his rage low, and all that rot. The main thing that seems to happen in this fight is that you'll go through all 10 ad waves before you can get close to pushing him past that magical 10% mark where you burn through him quickly. This means you'll get 3 defensive stances. Hopefully you can get him around 15 or 20% before that point, and then after he comes out of that defensive stance, you bloodlust and burn him down, just controlling that last 5 ad spawn and hanging on. This all means it's a pretty long fight, and you'll need to pay attention for a big chunk of time while ads are coming out. They take top priority over getting the boss low. You'll have about a minute after that 3rd defensive stance to kill him, so definitely keep cleaving and dotting the boss, but ad control is the name of the game. So let's dive into the ads since that's the majority of the fight. As I said, you'll want to establish a priority. We chose to kill off War Shaman first, then Snipers, Arcweavers, Assassins, and finally Iron Blades. You'll have many different combinations of these 5 types of ads, so just keep that priority in mind and you'll be able to know how to respond. Add-ons like DBM will give you a heads up that the next ad wave contains, say, a Sniper, Assassin, and Iron Blade, so you can pre-warn your raid of priority so they aren't surprised. And as always, this was our priority list based on the strengths and weaknesses of our raid group. So many other priorities can definitely work. We chose to kill off Shaman first for fairly obvious reasons. We didn't want any other ads or Nazgrim getting healed. With 2 healing it, the snipers put a decent amount of stress on the healer getting fixated, so we got him next. But at the same time, if there was an Arcweaver out, we stuck at least 1 melee DPS on him to keep him interrupted as much as possible. His nuke spells hit harder and harder the more he's allowed to cast, so you can't just leave him alone. Likewise, we also didn't just ignore assassins. Once they were popped out of stealth, we kept a slow on them so the fixated person could run away and kite. He won't one-shot the person if they get near, but it's unnecessary damage you can avoid, so you might as well keep him locked down. And of course, lastly, we always made sure that a tank was picking up the Iron Blades so they didn't spin all over the raid. Make liberal use of your stuns and CCs to help out the overall ad control. I'd always be throwing out a bonding shot, the paladin in our group would always fist at least one of the adds, and others chipped in with frost novas and roots and such. Keep them all under control and melt them away so you can get back to hammering Nazgrim. As I mentioned, you'll get a third defensive stance, and then after that it's time to lust and burn the boss. Just get that last set of 5 adds under control and completely ignore killing them. The main one to control is the War Shaman. Keep him away from the boss and just survive until the boss is dead. Hey, that's always an effective strategy, right? Survive until the boss is dead? Yeah. One last note on positioning. The room you are in is fairly large, and many guilds are in a habit of tanking the boss way at the back in order to ensure the shaman never heals him. This can still work, but we chose to move him a little bit closer to the ad spawns so that people could keep multi-dotting and also be able to switch targets quickly. Again, see what works for your raid. Tanks, please be sure to tank swap quickly for stacks. I know it should go without saying, but you really can't afford to get a Ravager out or even a war song, so please pay close attention. So to take down a general, you need to control his adds, avoid his jumping around, and wait until all of his soldiers are dead before killing him. As always, here are DPS and healing numbers for reference. Thanks for watching, and please comment, like, and or subscribe to the video if you found it helpful, and have a good one.